What's going on, Gerald? Hey, Celine. What is going on? What is going on, chat? Well, lots of people get in here since I literally just started streaming. And then we'll get started. Yellow. Will there be any more snow in North Texas this year? Probably a little bit. Yeah, probably a little bit. We'll go over that in a second. Just started stream, so I want to let some people get in here. What's up, Charles? Snow's melting, breaking your heart. Yeah. You've got snow just to your north right now. You can see on my radar at the bottom. Just to the north of you in the Hudson Valley. Any major snowstorms for Minnesota? Probably one or two in February. We're going to take a look at them here. Yeah. Probably a couple of them. 1 second, guys. Alrighty. Alrighty. Is there more rain going over Mississippi? Well, let's go over, let's break down what's going on right now. And then let's all start taking questions. What's going on, everyone? Looks like winter is over down south. Trees will be blooming in 2.5 weeks. Nope, Chase, winter is not over down south. Since subs won't renew, is there another way we can support you? Oh, I know. It's so frustrating. Hey, Brittany. Well, I'm multi-streaming right now. I'm on YouTube as well. And probably in about a week or two, I will be able to... let me actually do this. In about a week or two... Let me just confirm this. Give me a second here. Where is it? In a week or two, I'll have... I'll be able to grow my community with memberships over on YouTube. So that would be the best way to support me. I appreciate you asking that. I need 3,000 watch hours on YouTube for that, and I have over 2,000. So it shouldn't be too long till I get that. And honestly, if TikTok doesn't bring back subs and people can't even get coins and no one can renew, and we'll see what happens. But if they sell, the creator rewards program is probably gone, and if all of that happens, I may end up just being full time on YouTube, because it's tough being a creator on TikTok right now with everything that's going on. So that's probably what's going to happen. But YouTube, with probably 2 weeks, I'll have like my memberships on YouTube, and like I said, I may just start focusing on that. So okay. New Jersey needs a freaking blizzard. It's been like 5 dang years. All right, let's get into it, guys. Here is our latest forecast. Here's our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the CPC. So it's going to be a little bit more like this in the near future, but February 3rd through the 7th, this is kind of what we call a zonal flow, where your jet stream is kind of moving through the center of the country, and we're going to hold warm air down here for a while and cold air up here. No, your winter's not done down here. For those of you who don't know, the midpoint of winter was only 8 days ago. We are far from winter being over, and the biggest snowstorms we have ever seen out east and in the southeast have been in February and March. So your winter is not over. That would be jumping the gun there. So there's your 6 to 10 day. Here's your 8 to 14. You'll notice we start to get a little bit of cold air wanting to move back down south. This starting to push in, and I think this will continue to translate as we get farther back into February. Precipitation outlook pretty good for everyone except for the Southwest. So that's what's going on with that. Really quickly, again, if we go into our Storm Prediction Center outlook, or Storm Prediction Center outlook, and we go into day 3, we are going into Thursday morning, going to be watching a tornado threat through here around Austin, right through here. Not a very significant one. We're going to have some shear. We're going to have some southwesterly winds meeting southeasterly winds across portions of central and southeastern Texas. The shear is going to be decent, but you know our lapse rates aren't going to be incredible. The available convection isn't going to be incredible. The instability isn't going to be incredible. So if we do get some spin ups, they'll hopefully be weak, not too significant. They're not calling for any sort of major tornadoes. Just kind of a be careful because they're possible type thing. But the main issue with this event that we have coming up here, guys, is going to be the rainfall. Really quickly, quantitative precipitation as we move into Thursday and Friday over this region. This is going to be falling in a period of like 6 hours over people's heads. Heavy rainfall, flash flooding. Just be weather ready, weather alert. Understand when this is rolling through. This is mainly a Thursday event for this region. Mainly a Thursday event into Friday morning as we push up into the Ohio Valley. And again, you can see here, guys, I'm just going to go over this stuff real quick, and then I'm going to get to chat. Spin ups here. I think the biggest threat here is going to be wind and hail and rainfall. So probably wind and hail through this region. Something to watch out for, though, again, Thursday and Friday, down there through southeastern Texas and then through central to northern Louisiana. Not expecting any major severe weather or tornado outbreak, but there's very likely to be some flash flooding, some strong wind involved with these storms, and potentially some big hail. So you got to just plan for that, understand what's going on in your area. Someone said no sound. Hey guys, over there on YouTube, is there sound? I appreciate the follows, guys. Thunder, thank you. Yeah, sound. Okay. Okay, so anyways, so that's what's going on there. What do we have going on? I'm just going to quickly go over what's going on from coast to coast, and then I'm going to start taking everyone's questions. Here we go. What do we have going on right now up in the Northeast? We have some snow. Some heavy snow bands moving through the Northeast currently. So we have some blizzard warnings up here, but this is some pretty good snow falling in this region. There is now. Wait, there wasn't. I didn't change anything. I just kept talking. Did the YouTube stream just mute itself and then yeah, I haven't touched anything. For my people on YouTube, I literally haven't touched anything. So I don't know if it's going out, then it's probably on the YouTube end. Okay. Anyways, why is this up? 1 second. You can see down there on my radar on the bottom or my radar on the left side on YouTube, we have some blizzard warnings in upstate New York from Watertown down just north of Syracuse through Rome, Utica, over to Johnstown, up towards the Adirondacks. Some strong, some heavy snows falling just to the north here of Newburgh, and really across. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get it down here into the valley. This is probably going to stay to your north. I talked about this in my video today. A lot of this heavy snowfall is going to be inland New England and up here to the north. We're not expecting any snow in New York City, really Jersey. Southern Connecticut's probably going to miss out. We're not expecting much heavy snowfall through Mass. If Mass is going to see any, it's going to be northern Mass. We're expecting this snow to kind of stick to the north here. Boston will get in a tiny bit here. We can quickly look at the HRRR. What does the HRRR think is going to be settling down up there? Let's take a look at our 00Z. We'll just take a look at our Kuchera really quickly up in the northeast because I know people are wondering about this. Here's our latest from the HRRR. Yeah, so move that snow line slightly to the north. So not including the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, really Rhode Island, or the Cape. And you can see it really only wants to bring about a ½ inch into Boston. But good snow up here for inland New England and potentially for the Maine coast. And if we were to look at our latest Euro, what does our Euro think here? Euro wants to maybe put an inch and a half into Boston, but it's going to be really close. It's going to be really, really, really close for you guys. But there is some more snow that wants to move through behind this. I mean, you can see what happens here. Through the next 5 days, these are our expected snow totals from the Euro. And pretty much all of New England and upstate New York gets involved, including potentially northern New Jersey and potentially northern and northeastern PA. Lastly, before I go to chat, you've had sound the whole time. Okay. That's weird. Obviously, people are wondering, are we going to get snow into the PNW plains? Yes. It's coming, guys. We'll take a look at our Euro 12Z. We're just gonna look out where's the target for our snow over the next 2 weeks. As we've been discussing, we're gonna have a zonal flow, which is gonna mean we're gonna have a lot of warmth, above average and below average air meeting in this region, clashing through this region. That is gonna give us the potential for some lift, for some convection, and for some good winter storms to the north, and for some annoying rain and ice to the south. So you can just we can just take a look at the future radar for you guys up in the northern plains, and you can just take a look at where our red isobar lines are, 546 isobar and a 532, and where these lines are interacting. That is cold. Those are separate air boundaries. Warmer air, colder air, above freezing, below freezing, and that is where you begin to see. You can see snow that wants to continuously move into the Pacific Northwest and across the northern plains, kind of one after another there. So we're expecting this to be pretty active here over the next couple weeks, as we said, with a little bit potentially down into the Rockies as well. Really quickly here, and this is the last thing I'll go over before I take questions. We are in our Phase 7 of the MJO. Expected to go into Phase 8 and Phase 1 as we go through the end of February and the beginning of March. Obviously, what does Phase 8 of the MJO look like? The Phase 8 of the MJO looks like a big cool down typically out east. And we do have an Arctic oscillation that I believe is dropping as well, which would help us to get some more cold air down into the lower 48. So here's our latest Arctic oscillation, and we are potentially seeing a dip. So that's a slow of the polar jet potentially as we get into middle of late February. And with that and the phase of the MJO we're entering, we are not expecting winter to be over out here in the east or the southeast quite yet. The outlook does bring cold air back here as we push through February and potentially winter storm tracks. All right, let's take a look at our. Oh, by the way, our latest 18Z of the GFS kind of paints that the same type of look. Look where the GFS and Euro want that snow. Once again, they really like up here, the northern plains and portions of the Midwest, obviously New England. This is a very La Nina look. Okay, warm in the south, cold. Here, hot in the south, cold up here, snowy, dry. It's a very La Nina look, but we'll probably move back into, like I said, an eastern chill as we move through February. All right, what's going on, chat? Any possible snowy or icy weather for South Louisiana during February? I would not expect anything back down in southern Louisiana. For you to get snow into southern Louisiana, you need to be in your coldest month or coldest couple of weeks of the year, which is the second week of January, the third week of January, and the fourth week of January, or maybe pushing the first week of February. But with no snow in your forecast, you have to have such a major break in your polar jet, such a major slip in your polar jet, such a major outbreak that we really haven't seen in a very long time to get freezing air to push back down into the Gulf. The only time you really see that chance for it to touch the Gulf is typically through January and early February. I mean, I guess our 93 snowstorm brought snow into northern Louisiana, but that's like super, super rare. Not impossible. We've seen it happen before, but I would give you less than a 0.5% chance of seeing snow back in the Gulf this winter. So I wouldn't say impossible, but I'd say highly unlikely, especially since the next 2 weeks is going to be hot down here. And so the farther we move through February, the more your chances go down. What's going on, Kelly? Severe weather in Georgia. You guys aren't actually expected to see too much of the severe weather. A lot of the instability is going to kind of fix itself as it pushes off east. Alabama might be the last area to have to worry about that. No. I'm sorry, Eddie. It's not impossible, though. It's just highly unlikely. Will New York City see snow on February 11th? That's 2 weeks away, so I wouldn't be able to tell you that. There's no model that can be accurate 2 weeks out. GenCast, Google's AI model says it is, but that's not available to the public. How much rain does Dallas get Thursday? Yeah, we can take a look at what we're expecting from that. Actually, we can take a look at our HRRR and see what it thinks about that. Actually, our NAM might do better on that, but... So total quantitative precipitation. Our HRRR is thinking anywhere from a half inch all the way up to potentially. Man, this is really close here. Let's actually take a look. I'm gonna look at my radar here on the bottom, and we'll take a look at our HRRR here. Convection allowing HRRR. Let's see. Nope. We want to go to total precipitation. There we are. 00Z. Our short range model thinks Dallas is going to be thinks basically eastern Dallas. It's giving the eastern metro Dallas 1 to 2. And it's thinking north and western metro Dallas and potentially in downtown could receive anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain. So can you see that bottom screen there? Dallas is in the middle of the screen, and you can kind of see the coloring. It thinks that that goes right through Dallas. It thinks the north and western side of Dallas could see up to 4 inches, inch or two on the south and eastern side. Wherever you are, that's a ton of rainfall, and it's supposed to happen very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. This little streak of rain here is a little bit concerning that moves through northern, kind of western Arkansas, except for it cuts off before Fayetteville, and south and eastern Oklahoma. That is a lot. That's potentially pushing 6 inches in some areas. So that's what's going on with that. April, May, and June is going to be our outbreaks for bad weather in Georgia. Probably, yeah. I think we're going to have an earlier season. I think April and May is going to be the worst. I'm still waiting on my snow here in North Carolina. Well, Carolina, they've gotten a lot of snow out at the coast in North Carolina and a decent amount out west up in the mountains, but and some decent up towards northern Greensboro. But yeah, south central North Carolina has been the one area that it's just gotten a little bit unlucky. But that's what happens sometimes. You can have all the right the right conditions. You still need a little bit of your luck on a little bit of luck on your side with the tracking of the storm systems. What is coming through Houston? Houston, again, pointing back to our Thursday kind of, outlook here. We're watching the potential for some, I think flash flooding is going to be to the north and to the east of Houston, the flash flooding potential. But strong winds, hail possible, maybe, or tornado or two down here. So that's going to be mostly a Thursday event for you down there in Houston. Brittany. I know I'm always talking about that area. North Jersey, any snow in February and how many inches? Well, there's really no snow in your immediate future, so there's no way I could tell you how many inches because there's no forecastable snow. Nora, I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Martha, thank you, guys. But again, we are expecting a kind of winter pattern to return back here east as we move through the center or midpoint of February towards March. So I do think there's more snow in New Jersey's future. I do think we're still waiting for. Still think there's a potential for one of our nor'easter style storms as we get into late February here, potentially into March for the Mid-Atlantic. But there's none in the forecast right now. We got to be a little patient. But there's plenty of winter left for us in the Mid-Atlantic. Plenty of winter. Yeah, Ohio. I mean, North Ohio is going to be seeing a little snow. Moving forward here, but for you guys in the south and for you guys in the central and south, we're worried about ice, and we're worried about some decent rainfall, especially through all of the Ohio Valley through the first couple weeks here. We can look at our quantitative precipitation moving forward through Ohio. Even if we go all the way out here, pretty much all of this. Look at this, what the GFS wants to do. Pretty much all of this for Ohio is rainfall. Some of this is ice. Northern Ohio, very northern Ohio, might get some snow from some of that precipitation there. But temperature-wise, it's gonna be interesting because, again, we're gonna move into what we call a zonal flow, and a zonal flow is exactly what this looks like when we have. One second, let me fix this. When we have kind of below average temperatures expected up here, and above average temperatures on average expected down here. So Ohio's kind of going to be in that clashing. I hate it here. Ohio's kind of going to be clashing in there. But again, kind of warm up, cold, warm up, cold. It's going to be a very, very, when you have all this clashing cold and warm air, these are just storm systems. This is when you get lift. This is when you get a lot of instability in the atmosphere. And that's why when we take a look at our future radar, we can see tons of storm systems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potential 5 or 6 lows, winter storms moving over the Ohio Valley. But I think most of Ohio is going to be on the rain and ice side of a lot of these, just because of our ridging pattern for the next couple of weeks. That's going to change as we move through February, as I said. Really a weird zonal pattern here. Any upcoming snow in Minnesota? Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that a few times, but I'll go back to it. Here, our European ensembles. We'll go to our 12Z, and we'll take a look at service winter. Let's just take a look out 15 days. Let's take a look at 10 days. Here we go. That's fine. Here's our European ensembles. This is our best snow model for up here. This is where it expects our snow. It's not really expecting any to dig down into the south here. We're going to have troughing to the north. Not really troughing. We're going to have a zonal cold air flow up here. Zonal warm air flow down here. So we're going to have multiple 3, 4, 5 low pressure systems that are going to be moving into the Pacific Northwest as we move into February. So we're going to see system after system after system out here. And a lot of this is going to ride this zonal flow through the northern plains. So we're expecting, I don't see any huge snowstorm for the northern plains. I see 4 or 5 decently average snow systems that want to continue to move through this region as we move forward in time. Sometimes you get meridional troughing, guys, which is when you have troughs like this. And you get these big troughs, and this cold air digs into the south, and then you get winter storms down here. Or you get winter storms down here. But right here, we have what we call zonal flow. So we're not seeing our jet stream like this. Our jet stream is pretty much just going like this. Or like this. Or like this. A zonal flow. And those snowstorms are going to ride the top of the jet stream up here. And then you're going to see kind of ice and rain down through the south. That's kind of our setup. But I mean, the main area we're watching for these systems is through here. It hasn't really changed much. Oregon coast. Yep, we're expecting the potential for some low elevation snow out there, which I've been talking about for a while. With this troughing, it is very, very possible to see, especially as we get into next week, some low elevation snow, potentially into Seattle and Portland. We can take a look at that on the GFS. Let me fix this up for you. I know the West Coast is finally getting some love. So let's move this out a tiny bit so you guys can see what's going on here. Here we go. This on the Euro. Let's go actually here. Let's go to the Euro 18Z. See if we can see this dip in the Pacific Northwest. We got to go back to the 12Z. As we get into right here, as we get into the 3rd to the 5th, 4th to the 6th time frame, we see a trough building out here in the Pacific Northwest. Oops, there we go. And this would bring well below average temperatures up here. This would bring well below average temperatures up here to the Pacific Northwest. With moisture availability, this is when you could see some snow down into Portland and Seattle, low elevation cities out there. And you can see, actually, if we go to our European deterministic 12Z, let's go to total Kuchera, and we'll go up to the northwest. Our Euro here likes snow up in the mountains because we don't have that troughing. But then look what happens as we get into the 3rd. We have to actually go back to our 12Z here. As we get into the 4th, 5th, 6th, you can see these low elevation areas potentially, we'll watch it. This is potential, filling in with snow. Because that is when we're going to have some Arctic air digging back down. Arctic surface air digging down, where that snow isn't just going to, has the potential to not just be falling up in the mountains. But you guys are expected to have one. I mean, look at this stream of moisture that begins. Look at this stream of moisture that begins on the 1st. Right here, kind of an atmospheric river setup for you. As we move into the 1st of February, watch the stream. See that? Just flows in, and then you have another system slam into the coast. So active. This is more of a La Nina look for the Pacific Northwest. With some cooler temperatures as well. Much cooler temperatures. Snow amounts for Flagstaff tomorrow, it's impossible to tell. It's sporadic snow showers. Anyone who tells you how much they think you're going to get is probably going to end up being wrong. I can entertain it, and I'll show you what our HRRR thinks, but it's this isn't a blanket of snow moving through. These are like kind of snow showers. Look how it looks on our radar here. You see that? How much do you think Flagstaff? Based on looking at this, how much do you think Flagstaff's going to get? You can see, guys, it's a low because you can see the counterclockwise movement. This is cyclonic. It's actually cool to see on the future radar sometimes. Composite reflectivity. Here we go. So, what does the HRRR think? The HRRR thinks this just isn't going to blanket a bunch of people in snow. I mean, look at this. It's good. It looks pretty good for Colorado. Why? Once it gets up into the highest of elevations, it starts to lift and kind of create its own, starts to amplify that condensing moisture. So you could see more of a blanket look of snow up here through Colorado, but it's going to be very sporadic totals down here in the south. When will it rain snow in Arizona? Will it rain snow in Arizona next week? Let me take a look at that. One second. My friend called me. Let me just let him know I'm streaming. There we go. Let's go back out here. And precip. Nope, we don't want that. Let's go back to our Euro 12Z. Here's moving into the beginning of next week. Some ridging down in the south, but potentially some moisture moving into SoCal and Utah, Colorado. looks pretty dry. I mean, you guys have seen this, and I've shown this to you a few times. Climate Prediction Center's outlook moving forward, especially after this system in the southwest moves out, wants to keep you guys dry. That's due February 7th and then through the 11th. But I do think you have a little bit of a chance for some more moisture down there in the southwest in the short term. Let's zoom out a little bit. That's not what I wanted. Sorry, guys. Let's go Euro, and let's go into our 12Z. And let's look at our 500 millibar height anomalies. Zoom out. You've got this low right down there in the south. That's what's bringing your snow and rainfall tomorrow. That's going to move out. You see some ridging build up here in the southwest. This is going to dry you out. This is going to be heat. But behind it, here we go again. Some more troughing, potential low, some more moisture that maybe will dip down here into the southwest. Too far out, we could see that amplify a little bit. And at the end of this run, you can obviously see this is very far out. This is very far out. But there's a little bit of model consensus on a big dip, on a really amplified trough. This would be a big potential snow and rain system for the southwest. But that's more as we push towards mid-February. And I think that may push us. This may push us into actually a pattern shift where we see cold air back in the east. Cold, wintry pattern back in the east. All right, let's go back here. There we go. Any more snow for Northwest Virginia? And there's no forecastable snow, so I can't tell you if there's going to be more snow. I can just tell you that the outlook's positive for more winter weather out east as we push through February. Ready for summer? Sorry, not sorry. I know some people are. Out east, me too. Out east, we've had one of our coldest December and January periods out here in decades. Well, it's been well below average out here. Actually, really through here as well. Through a lot of areas out east. Northern Maine outlook, you guys are expected to get a lot of snow here. I mean, you can take just based on our future radar. You got a clipper moving through there, another system here, another system here, another system here, another system here. I mean, you guys are expected to get a lot of snow in the first couple weeks of February. And your cold air is expecting to hold in because we're not going to be sitting in a ridge. We're going to be sitting in a zonal flow for a little bit here, like I've been talking about, where our jet stream wants to set up like this, and it's all cold for north, below average. Winston-Salem, North Carolina this weekend. NASCAR race. When's the NASCAR race? What day is it? Looking pretty nice Saturday. Pretty nice Sunday as well. Dry. Dry and slightly above average temperatures for the race. Yeah. Dry and slightly above average temperatures. We can see on Sunday as we move into Sunday down there. What's our temperatures looking like? Yeah. 5 to 10 degrees above average. Not too bad. Snow in New York. Upstate has a lot of snow coming through here, and this isn't the last storm. You're going to see a step. You're going to see another one here, maybe another one here. You could see, guys, where these storms want to ride. Look at where all the snow is. Look at where all our winter storms are. As all of these set up, we're seeing, again, rain and icing to the south, snow up to the north, because you can see where these red and blue lines interact. This is going to push snow, keep our snow line to the north and our rain line to the south. What we had going on earlier in the season was a jet stream more set up like this, and so we were seeing our weather kind of like this. Now we're expecting to see more of a snow through here, rain through here, because it's a zonal flow. This right here is a GFS, but I go through the models as we look. This is the 18Z GFS, so not too different from the European until we get out to about 200 hours. I like the sound of zonal flow. Zonal flow is good for not allowing any major tornado outbreaks, let's say that, or significant severe weather outbreaks. But this zonal flow is not expected to hold for that long. You can see right here as we get into really the second week of February, we're out of a zonal flow. As we push into the 7th, 8th, 9th, this right here, big dip in our jet. And then, we're getting back into more of that meridional troughing, which is expected with kind of phase 8 of the MJO and negative AO, negative Arctic oscillation. So zonal flow for about a week and a half, which, again, that's why that's helping this kind of severe weather threat we have Thursday and Friday down here not be more intense. If we had a much colder air digging in, this would have the potential to be a much bigger outbreak. And again, and then you can see no big severe weather. Look at down in the south. It stays kind of dry for a little bit after that. You've got kind of Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then finally Thursday you get that rain back down there. But it's going to be nice for a few days and above average. It's going to feel like spring, and it's going to be dry down there as we move into the weekend for most of the people in the Sunbelt states. As we move into the weekend and into the halfway point of next week. So it's probably going to snow up here in the Pacific Northwest pretty soon. Oh yeah, you're expecting below average Pacific Northwest and Northern Plains through the next couple of weeks are expecting on average, it's not going to be the whole time, but on average, if you were to take the next 14 days for the Pacific Northwest and Northern Plains, you'd see slightly below average temperatures and above average precipitation. And those below average temperatures is going to allow a lot of that precipitation to be snow. I appreciate the follows, guys. Follows and the subs. Thank you, guys. What about Northern Louisiana? Above average temperatures, and again, we're watching for the potential for flash flooding, maybe a spin up or some strong winds, hail, maybe a spin up or two through Louisiana on Thursday. We got to watch. You got to be weather alert on Thursday as this system moves through. After that moves out, though, on Friday, you're going to be looking just hot and dry until we get about halfway through next week, it looks like, down in Louisiana. No problem, Neil. You're right. The trough weakens a bit, and that will cause less lift and support of thunderstorms. Yeah, because when we see something like this, and we see this cold air start to dig, this is what we call a cold front. And out ahead of this front, you get lift in the atmosphere, and all that moisture begins to shoot up towards the tropopause, condense, and we get a lot of vorticity, and we get heavy, heavy, heavy thunderstorms. Now, this is only possible when you have when your jet stream does something like this. Cold air, and this is where you get your vorticity from too, some shear. When your jet stream is just sitting flat for a while here, like this, your cold air is moving along with the warm air. It's not really pushing into each other. See that? It's not pushing into each other. It's just moving along with each other. Where again, when we get like this, you literally get, you can get southeasterly winds into, northwesterly winds, and this is a major clash of air boundaries and of temperature, and that's where you get you can get severe weather outbreaks and big snowstorms. So, when's the first snowstorm for Iowa? You guys have a little bit of potential here. We wanted this one originally to. I should have trusted my gut from the beginning. I said I didn't expect much out of this because this is a storm system that's separated from our main troughing, so it's producing its own cold air. These typically don't get as intense. But originally we thought this was a chance for Iowa there, but it's not going to be enough. This is an interesting look here that I believe our Euro agrees with. Does this, is how high up is our ridging here? Because this could be snow for all of Iowa, or this could turn into mixing and ice for all of Iowa. And that would be around the 4th to the 6th time frame. If we were to look at our Euro 12Z and we were to go out towards that time frame, the Euro sees it as well, but the Euro again wants that to mainly be a rain and ice event for Iowa. So we'll have to see which model wins there. And then you have this on the Euro as well as we push into the 9th through the 11th time frame, which could be snow for Iowa. Bunch of close shots, and we'll have to see how does this trough amplify, de-amplify? Where does the actual path of the snow and the rain go? A little too far out. There's going to be a lot of moisture flowing in and around Iowa through the first couple weeks. you could see the Euro wants a third shot of potential snow in Iowa here. So, but as I said in my stream yesterday, your regions kind of through here are going to be stuck with, I think a lot of the snow might stay just to the north, and you may be in that kind of icy, rainy pattern as that because of this kind of zonal flow that we're looking at. Nebraska too. A lot of this snow that wanted to move into Nebraska, we'll have to see how far down this cold air pushes. If we can shift this snow line down a tiny bit. Any significant snow for New Hampshire? I mean, yeah. If you look, I usually say don't look at your weather app, but I would guess that your weather app in New Hampshire, almost no matter where you are, says you're going to get a ton of snow. Look at this. All right, this is through the next 4-5 days. Look at New Hampshire and Vermont. So yeah, I'm guessing you guys are expecting that, since the snow is knocking on your door. 2 clipper systems right through New Hampshire. Can you go through expected temperatures 14-day outlook in the Midwest? Yep. Let's go into. Just wants to give me Great Lake region. All right, let's go into our European ensemble, and let's do temperature. And here we go. And let's do anomaly. Can we do a certain day out? Here, let me actually switch how we're looking at this. 1 second. Panels. We can do, I mean, this is the easiest way to show you. This is February 3rd to February 7th. Colder up here through the Great Lake region. Warmer down here, southern Midwest, or more average temperatures down here, southern Midwest. The 3rd through the 7th of February. This is straight from the Climate Prediction Center. And then once we get from the 5th to the 11th of February, we're still expecting average temperatures through much of the Midwest, except for down here, we're expecting slightly above average. So most of the Midwest is expecting average to below average temperatures through the first couple weeks of February. The farther south you go, again, we're going to have, the way we're going to have our jet stream set up for you guys is literally wanting to kind of roll right through here. Most of your below average temperatures are going to be on the north side. Your average temperatures are going to be around the middle, and then your above average temperatures are going to be to the south of that. It's kind of an easy pattern to understand, because it's your jet streams. Our jet stream is really going to want to be just splitting the country here, as you can see, into north and south, where what we were looking at in January. For almost all of January, our jet stream was going like this, and it was cold and hot. It was coast to coast was different, not north and south, east and west, not north and south. One second. Jaquan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I appreciate you. Great Fisher, I appreciate you. Gone, Martha, thank you guys. Severe weather for Kansas City. You're an interesting spot for severe weather. Not looking at a little bit of rainfall Thursday. Other than that, as I said, Sunbelt states through the weekend and then through to about Wednesday want to really stay dry and have some above average temperatures. This we'll have to watch. The Euro doesn't even like this far to the south. The GFS wants to give maybe you a chance for some heavy downpours, not really severe weather from this system around between the 5th and the 7th. And then this would be very interesting for you guys. This at about 270. Snow, ice, rain. We'll have to watch that time frame. I don't see any sort of like strong wind, hail, tornado type of severe weather outbreak in your area anytime soon. I actually want to look at how the Euro treats that look at the 250-hour mark. So yeah, the Euro has that moving through much sooner. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that would be... Yeah, I mean, with this zonal flow, we're not expecting any major severe weather through Kansas City right now. What we were looking at, guys, and you remember we were talking about this, was the 6th through like the 8th time frame. This is really, luckily for us, has pulled back. Again, as I talked about, if this trough de-amplified, that would kind of save us from that severe weather outbreak, and it de-amplified. So that's good. I wasn't sure if it was gonna or not, but I said if it did, but it did. So that's good that this threat isn't looking as bad at the end of next week. Patiently waiting for hurricane season. I'm looking forward to learning more from you. Michael, yeah. Hurricane season is my favorite season. When it comes to meteorology, I know the most about hurricanes. That's what I was going to school to study. When I was in school, Florida State, for meteorology, was specifically hurricanes. I love hurricane season. I don't want it to be a bad one, but tropical cyclones are extremely interesting to me. Very, very powerful systems. Is Montana going to have any weather today? Today? Oh, you guys have a little bit more of a day going through. You guys are sitting with some above average temperatures, but you will have some significant weather moving in at the end of this weekend and into the beginning of next week. Probably some snowfall for the whole state, and a big cool down. End of this weekend into the start of next week. Yep, Megan, Florida State, go Noles. We'll be better next year. It's going to be okay. Don said, go Noles. Let's go. We're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around. It's going to be okay. You know what's funny? I think, watch this, guys. I want to show you something really quickly here. Wait, let me see. Give me a second. Was it Tropical Tidbits? Do you guys know? Because a lot of people have seen Tropical Tidbits. This is like the #1 site everyone uses for hurricane season. Really, really, really good website. And it was created by a meteorology student at Florida State. It's pretty much the site everyone uses for hurricane season. So that's pretty cool. I don't know him, but I'd like to. I mean, like, yo, how did you make this thing? I want to make one. But very well-respected site. A lot of people like using that for updates during hurricane season. It lays out the information. Pretty easy to access, understand. Appreciate the follows, guys. Blakes, let's go, baby. What's going on, Phil? I hope you feel better. Because we got to do. Looks like snow this weekend for Wisconsin. Any decent amount? Well, again, it's funny. You know, both our GFS and Euro, again, just paintbrush of snow across the Pacific Northwest and Northern Plains. So I expect you all to get snow. This weekend, let's take a look. We're talking about Wisconsin, then we're going to go into the Euro. Here's what our Euro... Okay, so through the weekend, so this your Clipper system begins to move in Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday looks to be your main snowfall day. Most of that stays to the north on the Euro. The Euro is good with snowfall projections in this time frame, but we're not really within 96 hours, almost within 96 hours. We definitely want to be within 96 to 72. So we'll see. Not impossible for this snow line, which is currently here, to shift down a little bit farther south, maybe even include Chicago. But we could also see this slightly shift to the north, so we'll wait a tiny bit longer to see what's our GFS think. Do we have model consensus on this? Our GFS is much more aggressive with it. So if your weather apps say anything crazy, it's taking it from the GFS. But the snow line is pretty accurate between the Euro and the GFS. Let's see our Canadian. I'm guessing our Canadian goes crazy like it always does. Oh, no, our Canadian's pretty tame, actually. Shocker. Our Canadian keeps it very far north. Look at our Canadian, guys. It gives you almost no snow into Wisconsin. That's why I always say I don't like the Canadian, because it's probably going to be wrong. And then our euro here, our icon. Here's our latest icon. Actually, I think that was a later model, or earlier model. Let me check our icon. Yeah. Let me see. Was that a at the end of the run? Yeah, we'll see. I think the Euro and GFS agreeing with the snow line through kind of like here is probably correct. Obviously, the GFS is bullish. The Euro isn't. We'll have to wait and see. Within the next 24 to 36 hours, we'll have a pretty good estimate on Wisconsin. Oops, I didn't want to go to Mexico. Let me see something real quick. One second, guys. Okay. Do you think we'll have snow in Portland? It's, you know, like I said, the Euro and GFS do want to give us a chance for low elevation snow into Portland because of this kind of significant troughing we have between the 4th and 6th time frame. You get well below. We can just take a look at our temperature anomalies up there around that time frame. Ready? Boom. Significantly below average temperatures around this time frame, and we're gonna have some moisture, some systems pushing in, potentially some streaming, some atmospheric river type conditions pushing in here with these well below average temperatures. This is what you need to get low elevation snow in cities like Portland and Seattle. So there is potential there between the 3rd, 4th, and the 6th. We'll call it. It's not guaranteed, but I'd say 50-50 shot here, if not better, for that low elevation snow. Checking on Detroit again, flying in this weekend. Yeah, weird. Detroit's been in a weird spot with this system we have moving forwards. This first one is turning into just a rain and thunderstorm event for Detroit. Maybe some mixing. Looks like that snow is going to want to stay to the north. As we get in on Sunday, though, looks pretty nice. Maybe some light snow falling to the north, but no, it doesn't look like you would really have any delays because of weather. That's what I'll say. What do you think about Upper Peninsula of Michigan? What do I think? Snow-wise, well, our Euro's going to do great up there. And the Euro through just the let's see, about week expectations through about 7 days. It's not doing anything crazy up there, but it is giving the opportunity for anywhere from 3 to 9 inches. Specifically in the far northern peninsula, 6 to 9 inches. This is all Clipper systems. There's no major winter storm, major blizzard that wants to roll through. You're going to have some strong winds with these Clippers, but again, this could get sloppy here. But this is the strongest snow that's going to. The strongest snowstorm in Michigan in the next week is kind of happening right now. If it's not over yet. Yeah, you still got some snow moving through there. Some snowfall. Ooh, look at this snowfall right now. That's actively going on. This may put a decent amount into Boston. This actually may put... There's a band that wants to roll into Boston right now. What's our temperature in Boston right now, guys? Let's see. Oh, 27 degrees. Can someone confirm it's 27 degrees in Boston? FSU can suck it. Shut up, Phil. Phil, is it 27 degrees where you are in Boston, or at least around that? Yali, I appreciate you, Megan. Thank you. Looks like we have a band of some heavy snow potentially moving in. Ooh, is this going to go just to the north? This might move right into Boston. This may be a surprise overperformance of snow if this band continues to move its way towards downtown. I'm lagged so heavy on YouTube. I can tell because every time I ask YouTube a question, it takes like 2 minutes to answer. I can tell I'm lagging heavy on YouTube. That's fine. It's my fault. Or it's YouTube's fault. It's not your fault. Pittsburgh, you're not expecting any major snow in Pittsburgh anytime soon. Probably going to remain pretty cold, though. One second. Let me fix something, guys. Is YouTube... Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Could you not answer in chat? It's 23. Is that the feels like temperature? Oh, that's weird because mesoscale analysis says it's 27. Oh, I mean, yeah, you're a little bit away from the coast, so that makes sense. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a little bit to the northwest. It shows 23, 24. You might get a surprise snow right here. There's a band moving right off from your west into Boston. That could drop snow quickly. Okay, you're my eyes and ears on the ground. Let me know. Bye. All right, sorry guys. Back to our normal scheduled programming. I didn't expect to see that. By the way, if you look at the bottom radar, why am I not looking at the winter weather radar? And why am I looking at the rain radar? Well, this shows us where our bands actually are. If I were to look at the winter weather radar here, it would just show it's snowing everywhere, but it's not. Although this is seeing this heavier band right here of snow. All right. Could be some good snow. Jordan, it's coming. This might throw you a curve ball, but head it to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Work trip this weekend. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Let's see. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Up there, northeastern Indiana. Let's take a look at what's going on up there this weekend. Let's take a look at what we expect to go on up there this weekend. Here's as we get into Friday afternoon time frame. I hope you are flying in. I hope you're not flying in Friday morning. Friday evening looks much better. But yeah, that pushes out. Saturday's beautiful. And Sunday is pretty nice as well. Maybe some snow to the north, but pretty nice weekend. As we get into Friday night, the worst of the weather moves out. It's a pretty nice weekend. Temperatures are probably going to be around average to slightly above, around average to slightly above, below average. I would expect, but we can take a look really quickly here at our temperature anomaly. Here's as we get into Friday evening. So Friday stays a little bit above average, but then your cool air sinks back in. It actually wants to take it. Actually wants to take this above average, even though our jet stream here is to the south. That's interesting, actually. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we have a separate jet here to the north and a separate jet down here. So we're still going to be holding some ridging up here through parts of the Midwest. It's pretty warm and dry, except for Friday. When I say warm, I mean it's seasonably warm. It's going to be cold. It's not like you're going to be sitting in the 70s. Yeah. Pacific Northwest, again, we are expecting, it's kind of an easy, when people ask about that, as we get into Friday, here comes precipitation. 3, 4, 5 potential storms back to back to back, and some cold air troughing moving in. We're expecting Pacific Northwest through the next 2 weeks on average, not the whole time, but on average, if you average out the next 14 days in the PNW, you would see slightly above average precipitation during that time. If not, yeah, slightly above average precipitation and slightly below average temperatures. So more of a winter-like pattern, more of a wet pattern up there in the Pacific Northwest over the next couple weeks. You can see storm after storm lining up, and that cold air troughing returning. Appreciate the follows and the subs, guys. Flagstaff, Arizona over the next 2 weeks. Well, after this snow moves out of your hair, which it's going to be hard to see who really gets snow from this. It's a very sloppy kind of spinning, cyclonic snow shower event here. Not everyone's going to see snow. It's going to be very sporadic. Although Colorado, you're going to get some natural lift because of those mountains, and you're going to get some more widespread snow in Colorado. After that moves out, man, you guys are supposed to be warm and dry for quite a while. The GFS likes more snow and moisture and cold air to move back in in between the 7th and 9th time frame of February, but there's time for that to change. We'll watch and see if that changes. Will we see any more sub-zero temps in northern Wisconsin? Very likely, yeah. Very likely. You can see this wants to do it multiple times. Sub-zero. Again, as we push into the second half of February into March, guys, we are expecting kind of a negative, more of a negative EPO look, bringing significantly more colder temperatures back out here and some winter weather back out here. It's an outlook, but it's an outlook that's been holding. Again, when we have this zonal flow as well, you're not going to get a major trough that shoves down and gives you negative 40 degrees anywhere up here. You're going to be sitting around your averages, if not just barely slightly below them. Still a month away, not certain yet. Mid-February is only a couple weeks away. You know, taking a look at if we have some updated teleconnections here. These things do pretty well within 2 weeks. Pretty well. Maybe sometimes out here you'll get a little bit of a change. This AO does want to drop back negative. It wants to start moving back down negative. Arctic oscillation, that's your polar jet basically slowing. Our EPO wants to dip down a little bit here, but then remain neutral. Not bad. This isn't showing a very warm pattern for the east. North Atlantic oscillation dropping slightly, heading towards neutral. This could mean the pickup of some storms out east. PNA. This is a pretty significant sign here of maybe a drop here as we move into mid-February. So I would say this dipping negative PNA with a dipping AO is a sign that we could potentially, again, mid-February, be moving into a colder pattern out east. Not guaranteed. You have your WPO wanting to go super positive. So this is a little bit of a confusing teleconnection outlook. What it is showing, really, because we're not having agreement, they're not really connecting with one another. What they're showing is kind of what we're getting, which is a zonal flow type of chart here. When you look at all these charts, the one thing that's kind of in common with them is no major dips, except for the end of the AO and kind of this EPO here. But we'll see. This is an interesting look here, but this is the time frame when we think we could get actually a little bit of snow into the low elevation snow into the Pacific Northwest. New GFS is loading. Yep. And we have 9 hours of it loaded. We'll let that get in. We will let that load in. A high of 48 in Wisconsin on high of 48 of Wisconsin on Sunday. That's what your Weather Channel app says. Where are you in Wisconsin? Yeah, if you're like really, really far south near the border, the Euro thinks you could get near 48. The Euro's not projecting anything really over 45, but it's projecting 40s far, far, far south down here. I try every stream to restub, still can't, but I do follow you on YouTube. And so I appreciate that, Michael. Yeah, TikTok is completely screwed right now. People can't restock their coins. People can't sub. People can't resub. The creator rewards program, my algorithm's messed up with my video views. Creator rewards program isn't paying out as much. So I'm putting a little bit of investment into my YouTube because in the next week or two, I'll have membership on YouTube and I'll be really focusing on YouTube because then that allows people to support me through YouTube, through the membership program on YouTube. So, which is kind of like a sub on TikTok or gifting. It's like that. So yeah, it's tough for creators right now on TikTok, but and if the sale does go through, they'll probably just rip out the creator reward program. So I appreciate you, Michael. Oshkosh, just south of Appleton. Let me see here. Because I don't know. I don't know where either of those are. Oshkosh. That sounds like such a Wisconsin town name. I would be shocked if you guys got up to 48 degrees. It's possible, but our best cold air troughing model doesn't see it. Our best cold air model, or temp model in this time frame in the mid latitude doesn't see you getting that warm. It sees you only getting into the low 40s. So update me if it gets that warm. I'd like to know. Can you tell us about Rochester, Minnesota? Well, again, what's our outlook for Rochester, Minnesota? Well, what's our outlook for the Northern Plains? You know, I know Minnesota's the Midwest. I know people are like, oh, this is the Midwest. Okay. Well, I include you guys here in the Northern Plains. People would say the Northern Plains technically is like here, farther out. But there's a lot of nothingness out here, okay? And you're in the north. It's plain. So it's much more of a northern. You got Midwestern people, but like geographically, it's the Northern Plains. You guys are expected to be below average through the next kind of 14 days on average. Look at our precipitation, above average precipitation. So again, that's why we see all of our models when it comes to snow, painting a big brush of snow up there as we move into February. And that does include Rochester. So, you know, the outlook is good up here. There's no major snowstorm in your immediate future, but we're expecting a colder, not really a colder, but a snowier pattern for you guys to kick off February. Nothing like what you saw in January where you were dry. The reason you were so dry in February or January, by the way, was your temperatures were so cold and you had no warm air interaction at all. You can clearly see what is happening now when we go into just take a look at our isobars. You're getting these red isobars up here. This is above freezing air. Warmer air, this is below freezing, and you're getting this interaction up and around the northern U.S. This allows for lift, instability in the atmosphere, and our low pressures and snow systems to form. Through almost all of January, our jet stream sat like this through a lot of it, and you were just cold. You all blue isobars, cold from the floor to the ceiling, from the surface all the way up to the tropopause, no instability, no ability for low pressure to form or convection or condensation. That changes when you get a zonal flow and you have some of that up there. Lots of drawing. So it's good outlook for snow in Minnesota. Also for tornado season to start. Well, the tornado, we're not going to see a big tornado outbreak while the zonal flow holds, but it's not expected to, again, once we get to the end of February. Middle to end. Snow made in Missouri, we hope, for the farming aspect. None in your forecast. As this pattern wants to shift, I mean, this is an interesting look, but this is 250 hours out. That would be snow for middle Missouri potentially, and here. Again, when we see a pattern shift, when our jet stream is set up like this, we're going to see more snow out here. When our jet stream is set up like this, we're going to see more snow up here. When we have a transition in our jet stream, which may happen mid-February, and we start to balance it back, that's when you can get big snowstorms cutting through your central plains. So I'd be watching the middle of February timeframe for potential good snow through Missouri. It's not guaranteed, but that's based on our outlook. That would be your best time slot. But we'll see. You know, if we don't push our cold air back into the east as quickly into the middle of February, and our jet stream does want to lock in a positive EPO, you see that storm that just went by, and then this type of storm here, we might see a couple looks for Missouri or Iowa snow before then. Any more snow coming to Eastern Shore, Maryland? None in the forecast. No snow in the forecast, but again, second half of February looks promising for the Mid-Atlantic. Florida outlook around the 20th. That's a month away. I can't tell you that. I would expect as we get into the last couple of weeks again of February to start to see a cooler look out east, but Yeah, it's a little too far. Let me take a sip of this, guys, 1 second. Are seasons gradually shifting forward by the calendar year? Kyle, why do you think they'd be shifting? They're pretty similar to how they've always looked. I don't go by astrological winter. You know, this like winter starts December 21st and winter ends stupid thing. Winter starts winter starts December 1st. It ends it lasts through March. Okay. It's meteorological winter starts December 1st, and it's about a little over 3 months. December, February, January, and February are winter. You know, if you're born December 19th or December 20th, you're not born in fall, like your astrological calendar says, or astronomical. Astrological. God, I always twisted my words there. What's happening first? But yeah, we typically still see all our coldest and most wintry type conditions in December, January, February. That hasn't changed much over the last couple hundred years. If it's shifting, it's very slow. Let's see here. Dalton, to get a bachelor's in degree in meteorology, the only thing that's hard is you take a lot of math courses. It's a lot more math than I thought that I'd be getting into, which I like math and it was okay, but it's a lot of math. It's not like some courses require gen ed math where you stop. You're required to take like trig 1. Like it requires a couple of trigs, couple of calcs, and because there's a lot more math that goes into meteorology than a lot of people think. It's pretty math intense. So if you don't like math, it's not the field for you. But does Iowa have snow in the forecast? It has the potential for snow. You guys are, just because of the way our jet stream's set up, and I've been saying this for kind of over a week, these areas through here are going to struggle with seeing light snow to ice to rain. Most of your snow is going to be up here to the north, just based on the way our jet stream's set up. So I wouldn't expect to get any big snow in the first couple of weeks in Iowa, unless you're talking about central to northern Iowa, potentially. You can see at the end of this run, though, as we get into mid-second week of February, the GFS gives you potential here, but the Euro has this way to your north still. So there's not model consensus on that snowstorm through Iowa quite yet, but it's a signal that we're watching. Does Columbus, Ohio have a chance to get above the snow? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like I've been saying, out east, you're really going to want to be out east. If you're kind of south of this region, you're going to really want to wait until we get into the middle of February towards the end for your snow chances down here to go back up, including through the mid-Atlantic. We just have a jet stream that wants to pump warmer air down here and colder air up here. And that snow line is going to be to the north. Is March snow in Minnesota likely? Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it depends where you are in Minnesota, but Minnesota averages some good snow in March, right? Twin Cities. Average March snow. Let's see. I'm going to say like a foot or something. Oh, not that much. Minneapolis only averages 4 to 5 inches of snow in March. Sometimes it can get up to 10 to 11. Your big snow storms can move through the east though once we get into March, and that is because your Gulf starts to really warm up, and we get a lot of energy pulled off the Gulf, so you can get some big snowstorms up through here in March. Sometimes even down farther south. How's Chicago looking for snow in February? Again, it's going to be close with a lot of these storms. Chicago does look like it's gonna get one of these snowstorms that wants to move across with this flow here. So I'd expect Chicago to see some okay accumulation in February. Right now, though, there's none in the forecast. There's some signals in our outlook. So as we get into the second week of February, it looks like we want to move into more of a positive EPO for maybe 5-6 days, meaning you'll have storms riding through here. So as we get into the second week of February, I'd say that's when we're watching for a potentially good Chicago snowstorm. But not in your immediate outlook. You've got snow moving to your south, snow moving to your north. So not impossible with this first system to get some snow on the back end on Friday, Friday, but likely just going to be a rain mixing event. Is Nebraska gonna get snow? Kind of the same answer of Chicago and Iowa, because and I'll just point you back towards, this is the easiest thing to point towards because we have the Euro and GFS in pretty good agreement. Here's kind of more of a forecastable range, somewhat forecastable range of where our snow is, guys. Notice anything? And you see a little gap here, but it's really literally splitting the country like this. This is a zonal flow. Now, again, what did I say? Positive EPO maybe pushing into the second week. What does that do? Look at that. It gives you a chance for that snow to streak across the central plains because you have your jet stream going from this to this, and that allows your storms to ride up. So that's going to be your outlook there for Nebraska for better snow. Although you get a chance central to north, you get a chance for western to northern Nebraska, I think, because this snow line may shift down a little bit to get in on the action in a more forecastable range. How are things looking in terms of ice? There's no big ice storm in our immediate future. You could see maybe some potential up here. This is going to be really hard to forecast in this time frame. Let's look at our 18Z for ice. It doesn't really want any ice on the Euro, so no major ice right now in the forecast. So ice is hard to project anyways if you're not within like 24 to 36 hours. So I wouldn't be worrying about ice too much right now. GPT and let's see, politics, bro. I appreciate you guys. Going to the mountains of Boone, North Carolina for Valentine's Day. When will we know the forecast? Forecast, you want to be within at least a week. So, God, when's Valentine's Day, guys? March something? Wait. March, is it March 14th or something? It's not in February. Don't do that to me, guys. Don't mess with me. Oh shit, it's in February? Oh god. Well, thanks for whoever brought that up. Shit. Yeah, about a week. We'll start looking at that Valentine's Day forecast. yeah, Abby, I'm gonna get on it. Don't worry, Megan. I'm getting on it. Thanks for the reminder, guys. I should do a Valentine's Day. I'll do a Valentine's Day outlook and forecast. We can do a Valentine's Day outlook this weekend for the country, and then a week before, 5 days before, I'll do the forecast. Why? Crap! I thought it was March 14th. I had the number right. That's the start. Sorry, what was I about to look at? Oh, is that moving through? Is that band moving through Boston? Just to the north of Boston. Snowing heavy just to the north of Boston. Potentially another band moving in, though. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we're not gonna be in El Nino in a while. For a while, staying neutral to La Nina. Snow for Albuquerque. Here's our latest look. We'll actually here. Here's our latest look from our HRRR down there. Dun, dun. Very weird snow system, guys. It's like a big snow tornado moving through here. Really, really scattered, sporadic snow. This isn't a blanket of snow, like I said. So could Albuquerque get a good snowfall? Potentially. But a lot of this is going to be elevation snow, higher elevation snow in New Mexico, and it's going to be very sporadic. You can see that this is just straight up banding. So some people are going to see none, and then you're going to drive 10 miles to your east, and there's going to be like a foot. Watching this on the future, and why? Well, again, this isn't associated with the trough. This is a low pressure producing its own cold air. So look at this. Very hard to predict. Again, there's no big pocket of cold air down here with the trough. This is in the middle of it's like 50 degrees out here, 50 degrees down here, 50 degrees down here, and it's somehow snowing through here because you have a low pressure that's strong enough to pull some cold air down from the stratosphere and push that down onto the surface. So very, very, I'm going to be looking at snow totals in 48 hours to see who actually got snow from this. Albuquerque could get a lot of snow. It depends on how those move through. Yeah, so it's not going to be as sporadic for Colorado because as that low pushes into the mountains, you get some natural lift, okay? As that low pressure pushes into the mountains, you get lift up against the mountain range, and that moisture is able to kind of follow the mountains up into the atmosphere, right? It pushes your air up, your air particles up, and you get a lot more. You get that moisture rising and condensing at a much faster rate, and in a much more broad area. So that's why when we're looking at a snow map down here, you can see as the mountains have their own weather laws. It's weird, but it's just the truth. So you can see what the snow wants to do. It's all sporadic right down there in Arizona, New Mexico, and then it hits the mountains. And look, so this is actually the Euro, but the HRRRs, this is more of a blanket of snow once we get up into Colorado, once we get into the much higher elevation, because your air is being forced up. And that's allowing it to get higher, a little bit higher in the troposphere and condense at a much faster rate and over a much broader area. So you could see some surprise totals down here, or even a little bit farther to the northeast. Drive New Jersey snow soon? Not very likely. Not very likely. We're going to probably be waiting for the second half or the middle or second half of February for Jersey snow. Maybe a chance for a tiny bit of snow in northern Jersey soon, but it's not looking very good. 1 second, guys. Give me 2 seconds. What about Georgia? February 6th to the 11th. You guys are expected to be hot. I can tell you that. Above average. We're a little bit far out to tell you what your weather's going to look like down there. But, if you were to take the Euro at its word, you may have some thunderstorms moving through around that time frame. But what we do know is it's likely to be... Oh, wow, the Euro does have a big potential dip out there. Negative EPO look as we get into the 9th and 10th. But you're likely to be pretty warm. We're not seeing any snow down there around that time frame in Georgia. We are potentially around that time frame going to see Slight dip in our jet stream, so I think we're still worrying about the potential for severe weather around that time. Are we saying the 6th and the 7th? Let's see. We'll be in Big Bear February 8th to the 13th. Any snow? Again, pretty far out. It's not a bad time frame to be out there. We do have models that do want to bring some. I mean, you can see here some significant troughing out here on our 12Z Euro around that time frame. And if we go to our latest GFS, there's a little bit of model consensus on this. So we push out here around that time frame as well. You can see big troughing, heavy snow into SoCal around that time frame as well. So there's some model consensus on that. There's a signal, there's some agreeability, but it's not within forecasting range. So there's still enough that can happen to kind of change that outcome. One second. Why is... One second. I got to answer a text, guys. All right. Will there be more? Sorry, guys. Disney February 7th to the 14th. Again, that's outside of forecasting range. We're not expecting to see any. We're probably during that time frame going to be seeing some above average temperatures still down there in Florida for February. There will be more chances for snow in Jersey, T-Dub. My best estimation based on our outlook is going to be the 2nd and 3rd week of February. Or sorry, 3rd and 4th week of February. I don't know why my bosses said snow. I knew it. Who told you that? I'd rather be on the snowy side here in Columbus, Ohio. I know. Agreed. More than the ice and rain. I agreed. I agree. 100%. I agree. What's it looking like for Super Bowl weekend in the South? It's out of forecasting range, but again, based on our GFS, it would want to bring in well below. It would want severe weather to start the weekend and then very cold temperatures to end it. Our Euro right now disagrees a little bit. Let's go to our 12Z and see what it wants down there. Our Euro Super Bowl weekend does like a little bit of severe weather. It does like some moisture in the beginning, not severe weather, and then still above average temperatures to push through the end of the weekend. Although what both models do agree is moisture in and around that time frame. So luckily they're playing in a dome. It's going to be all right, but it could be a little bit messy on the streets. Still time for that to change. Out of forecasting range, that's more of an outlook range. Michigan this weekend, you're going to be cold. Here you go. Some below average temps. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you start to heat up a little bit. Snowfall-wise, most of that snow is going to be in northern Michigan. As you can see right here. Really just expecting that northern mitten. What do you guys call that? The UP. Not much in central to south Michigan. But your conditions should be below average to start the weekend off, moving back towards average at the end of the weekend. And then as we get into early next week, you're expected to see some above average temperatures. Oh, you live in North Michigan? Then you'll probably see some snow. Depends how far north. farther north you go, you could get up to maybe 9 inches of snow. As you go down to the south, you're going to drop off all the way back down to 4 or 3 in the UP. You need snow on Rhode Island. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough. Here's our latest Euro. I mean, you can see way at the end, it puts a big snowstorm through the mid-Atlantic. But before that, it's not really wanting any snow into Rhode Island, other than maybe a dusting to a half inch. None of this is a surprise. This is what we thought that the beginning of February would be, but winter's not done out east. This is just a couple weeks. We still have a lot of time left in winter. Any storms in the forecast in the next 7 to 10 days that could cause power outages? Well, we're watching this event down here. It's a Thursday, Friday event that could bring some severe weather into this area. Farther out, actually, like this. We could see some strong winds, hail, and maybe a tornado or 2 or 3. We'll see. We're not expecting this to be super severe, but there will be portions. There will be areas through here that see some flash flooding. There will be areas that see some strong wind events. There'll be areas that see some hail, and we could get a couple tornadoes touch down. I wouldn't call this like a tornado outbreak, severe weather outbreak, but it's going to be a mess. There's going to be enough instability here to create some very strong downdrafts and some hail as well. So that's where we're watching for some potential power outages. And you know, as this moves to the northeast, and this low begins to deepen a little bit, this is going to be some pretty strong wind. New England could see some power outages with that storm as well as it pushes up off the coast there. Liz, I appreciate you. Really far northern Ohio is the only place I see really decent snow in to start off February. But yeah, again, and yeah, temperature-wise, February, this is from the Climate Prediction Center, February 3rd to the 7th, you're expected to remain around average. You're going to warm up. You're going to cool down. But then, yeah, as we push into the second week of February, you are expected to see warmer temperatures. Again, this is kind of what a zonal flow does. This is going to start looking more like a positive EPO in the second week of February, meaning we'll probably get cooler up like this and a chance for more snowstorms through here. And then as we get into the third week, again, the outlook is to shift back like this with some potential colder air out here in winter, but the potential for winter storms up through here. Here's our latest GFS. We're loaded out to about 120. Nothing new on that end, except for some maybe snow into central to northern Minnesota still looks good. Wisconsin still looks good. Michigan still looks good for some snow. Sunday this weekend, decent snow. A lot of snow and wind up into the Pacific Northwest and Northern Plains as we move into early next week. Florida's going back to, yeah, Florida's going to feel like summer for a couple weeks, but I don't think you're done with your cold yet. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Ugh, I'm a little bit tired today, guys. I've had a lot of work. I got a lot more work I actually have to do after I get off. Boise will have the potential for some low elevation snow with this troughing that we're going to see out here. Again, especially into the 4th to 6th time frame, and then maybe even a little bit farther. This is some very cold air that's going to be pushing in as we get into the first week of February with a lot of moisture being fed off the Pacific. So that's why we're seeing elevated precipitation and colder air out there in the Pacific Northwest to start off February, which gives low elevation areas like Seattle, Portland, Boise a chance for snow on the ground accumulation. Why is it so windy there in Midwest Ohio? Because you've got a low pressure to your north. In what you said, it's giving tornado. No. You're not expected to see any tornadoes. You've got a steep pressure gradient over your head, and that's what's pushing in wind. So that wind is going to probably remain until maybe we push into the weekend. We can take a look at our wind gusts here on our GFS just to visually see it. Wind holds. There we go. Getting into Thursday. Friday, not bad. Maybe we get some wind gusts picking up into Friday evening, and then you get a break again. But your strongest winds are likely to move out Wednesday evening. So tomorrow evening. Don't worry about tornado threat with that, though. You do not have a tornado threat. Luckily for you, those winds are all moving in the same direction. How we get a tornado, if they're all moving in the same direction, they're not spinning. You have the potential for a tornado when you have winds moving like this, and then somewhere else, whether it's a loft or at the surface, beneath or above those winds, you have winds moving across those winds, and then you start to get spin. You have no spin because all your winds are moving in the same exact direction, which is good. We like that. Oh, shoot. It just kicked me out. What's going on, guys? I got kicked out of my own live. TikTok kicked me out of my live. I'm not going to be on very long now. I was literally about to get off anyways, but it kicked me out. What's going on, guys? Sorry, I literally just got kicked out of my live. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. TikTok Live Studio doesn't. It literally says you haven't done anything in 30 minutes, so we're gonna kick you out of the live. What do you mean I haven't done anything? It wants you to like interact with the TikTok Studio app, like click stuff in it and do like interactions with it, or it thinks you're literally just live streaming nothing, which is really dumb. Is Georgia getting any more snow? There's none in the forecast, but it's not impossible to get more snow this winter. But there's none in the immediate forecast, Jamie. As we get into late February, you guys might have a chance based on how our jet stream wants to shift. Wants to pop some cold air back out into the southeast. Is Wisconsin gonna get snow? Wisconsin is getting snow in the first half of February. Hopefully all of it isn't too far to the north, but yeah, northern plains out towards northern Great Lake region, your snow chances are way up first couple of weeks. Snow in Houston's going to be tough. None in the forecast, so I can't tell you that yet, you know? There's not even in our immediate outlook and forecast. Although Houston is going to deal with the potential for some severe weather Thursday and flash flooding. Some wind potential, some hail potential, some flash flooding potential, some tornado potential. None of which are expected to be severe, but all of which could occur. So be weather alert on Thursday down there in Houston. Understand what's going on. It's not going to be a long-lasting event, but it's going to be a little bit messy for a while. Sorry, guys. My live literally kicked me out. I don't know why. If you don't interact with the TikTok Live Studio app, it just shoots you out for some reason. TikTok's been just burning us lately. People can't sub. People can't get coins. I'm getting kicked out of the TikTok Studio app. Like, I just want to go full-time YouTube. I appreciate the follows, guys, and subs. Connor forgot about me. That's crazy. Snow in Georgia in the long term. I think northern Georgia's probably going to see a little bit more snow before this year's done. Santiago. Yeah, we're still looking at a pretty big snowstorm for northern Wisconsin. I mean, this is a somewhat. I mean, we're not expecting a blizzard. This is a decent amount of snow though, potentially through the second and third, and then this could be another decent blanket of snow through the fifth and sixth. So Wisconsin's looking to get some good snow. How much snow do you think Boston can get this weekend? Guys aren't projected to get that much. The Euro does good. The Euro does a good job in this time frame, and unfortunately, at this latitude and in this time frame with snow projections, and unfortunately, you know, this isn't. First of all, these are clippers, so they're not expected to drop a ton. But you know, our Euro's pulled back a little bit this weekend, and is thinking. I mean, I guess late into Sunday. The Euro's thinking you're going to be between 1 to 3 inches. But you have a big snow line right to your north. So that could shift a little bit to the south, but I would say be on the safe side. I'd project, I think 1 to 3 inches is correct by the Euro. Just because this isn't a huge low pressure. This is an Alberta clipper moving through the region. This isn't going to be dropping super, super pumping snowfall. Decent snow up here. The best snow is going to be at elevation, though. Snow in the UP of Michigan. Yep. Not much central south. How much snow for Minneapolis in February? I'm not going to put a number on it. But I'd expect Minneapolis to push over a foot in February, I guess. But your chances for snow are way up in February because you have a zonal flow with a lot of liftability right to your south. So you can get a lot of convection in and around the northern plains. And you have a lot of systems funneling into the Pacific Northwest, pushing out with that instability in the northern plains meeting up. So Minneapolis is expected to see much more snow in February than it is in January, especially the first half. Connor, guess my age. I don't want to. I'm going to be wrong no matter what I say. So, could Central New Jersey see any big snowstorms in February? If it does, it's going to be the back half of February, or at least into the third or fourth week of February, not in the beginning, likely. Not in the first couple weeks. Can you tell me there's a lot of rain coming to South Louisiana? You know, here's our latest GFS model, which actually does pretty good with rainfall. Here's our latest quantitative precipitation outlook for Louisiana. And this is actually moving forward almost a week. And you can see southern Louisiana wants anywhere from a half inch to an inch. Not much is expected. New Orleans, almost none. So no major rain totals. A little bit of rain, but no major rain totals. And most of that's happening on Thursday. Northeast PA, not expecting much of snow in the forecast. And again, second half of February looks good for your snow outlook, but not the first half. Anything crazy coming to Roanoke, Virginia area? Nothing super significant right now. No. It's going to be more exciting time for the Pacific Northwest, parts of the Rockies and the Northern Plains, and New England, inner New England. Up here, it's going to be a much more active, exciting winter weather time frame for you guys, really through this region up here. And it's going to be a little bit boring for us down here. Thursday, we do have severe weather potential through this region, but mostly boring for us below that circle. Now, as we push into, again, the middle of February towards the end, we're probably going to see more severe weather / winter weather action in areas, not just there, but areas to the south and up the eastern seaboard. Potentially any good snow amounts for Rhode Island in February. None in the forecast. If you see it, it's going to be the second half of February. That's when the East looks better, not the beginning of February. I spoke about the East looking not good for snow, at least not including New England. But I spoke about the East, Eastern, South and Eastern portions of the U.S. This region not looking great for snow, winter weather. To start off February, first half of February. I've been talking about that for like a month. So this isn't very surprising for me, but the outlook actually worked out really well that we were looking at in the beginning of January. January 6th. January 6th. I said the beginning of February is going to be slow winter-wise out here for us. It's on my TikTok like 2 posts ago. January 6th. 3 weeks ago I said that. And this is exactly what's happening. No winter storms out here to start off February at all. First couple weeks. The outlook was really, really spot on. Outlook isn't always that spot on, but it was spot on. You're getting married outdoors on the 16th. Congratulations. Listen, there's signals agreeing on heavy rain and snowfall around the 14th and 15th of February, around the middle of February in SoCal. Luckily for you, that's over 2 weeks out. And a lot of times these models, once you get in that 2-week range, are wrong. And you see them change over time as we get closer to that time frame. So let's hope it's wrong, but there's I'd say there's a 80 to 90% chance that this outlook is wrong. But that wouldn't be the best for you, but there's a very high likelihood that this outlook's wrong. Trust me, they do not do good this far out. They barely do good after 120 hours out, and you can see where this thing is up here. We're way out there. You see? They're barely accurate through here, and we're way out here. So I wouldn't worry about it quite yet. We're not in forecastable range. Boise is expected to potentially get a little bit of low elevation accumulation to kick off February. Yep. Temperatures are going to be below average up here, and you're going to see above average precipitation. You can look at the radar as we move forward in time into February. I can see the southeast for another potential snow in late February and early March. This makes me think about the blizzard of 1993. Some areas in Georgia got a foot. Yeah. So I've been talking about that. I talked about that in January too, where I think the end of February gives potential for. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee it because it's an outlook. It's impossible. I don't know if it's going to happen, but there's like a potential. We're seeing a little bit of an AO, Arctic Oscillation slip at the end of February. We're seeing what looks to be a change in our jet stream to colder, and we're going to the MJO phase 8, which brings colder air out here. The atmosphere wants to set up for a big snowstorm, potentially south and then up the eastern seaboard, nor'easter style at the end of February, but it's not like a super strong signal for it. It's a kind of a weak signal for it, a moderate signal for it. And so I was really bullish about expecting to see some southern snow in January, which we did, because the atmospheric setup looked very good for it. The potential is here for a big snowstorm, potentially south and up the east in late February, but I'm not ready to like really hold on to that and like, you know, slam the money line on that yet. Because this zonal flow that's setting up over the next couple of weeks is just, you know, these types of zonal flows can hold for a while. And if this continues to hold, that's going to ruin that outlook. So I'm waiting. I still expect it, but I'm waiting to really, you know, hammer that home. So out of 10, how likely is that snowstorm going to happen? I'm like a 2 to 3 out of 10 right now. That's why I'm waiting. You the weatherman? Will we ever get snow in Nebraska? I know Nebraska's been rough. Second week of February does want to pull our jet stream into a positive EPO. What that would mean is we'd see our jet stream set more up like this, almost like a positive PNA look, and you could get a good snowstorm through Nebraska. So again, if that outlook holds, that's going to be your chance, Nebraska. Grab onto it. Don't let it slip, like Eminem said. Second week of February. I had a snowstorm last year, February 16th in Ohio. Hopefully we get another repeat of that. Not impossible with our outlook. Not impossible with our outlook. When's winter going to roll out of Minnesota? You know, you Minnesotans know it's winter through until like June. Minnesota, you guys are so cold for so long. I appreciate the follows, guys. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. My stream cut off and then I got back on. It kicked me off my stream. But I'm exhausted. I do answer a lot of these questions, guys, in my TikTok that I put up today that you're asking about snow and rain, severe weather. And I am going to post another video tomorrow going over my expectations again for February and our forecast and outlook across from coast to coast. I am going to post that again tomorrow before like 12 in the afternoon, so morning time. So that should answer a lot of the questions I haven't been able to answer. I'm going to try to stream before I leave. I'm going to be out of town, guys. I'll probably stream Friday night. So I'll be out of town, not streaming Wednesday, Thursday, but I'll be back Friday, back to my regular posting, regular streaming every single night schedule. For those of you who don't know me, I as long as I'm home, if not on vacation, I post every day, sometimes twice a day, stream every day, sometimes stream twice a day on the weekends. So I'm always here and I'm always coming back and I'm always posting to answer your questions. I'm always trying to answer all the questions I can in chat, but I'm really tired and I got some work to get done right now. But like I said, I'll post another update tomorrow and I'll try to get on my live stream before I head out of town for a couple days. I appreciate you all being in here. Long story short, guys, first half of February, we look cold and snowy up here. Okay. New England, northern Midwest, northern plains, Pacific Northwest. Your snow chances are elevated. Your cold air is elevated through the first half of February. As we get into the middle, we may see some snowstorms ride through the central plains. That's just because we're going to get into more of a positive EPO look. And as we get into the third, fourth week, it does look like we may see a return to winter back out here, potentially into the south and up the eastern seaboard as well. Maybe even down here into Texas. Okay, that's kind of what the outlook's setting up for. And we're moving into phase 8 and phase 1 of the MJO. What is that? Madden Julian oscillation. Well, when you look at the composites, when we get into phase 8 and phase 1, look at phase 8 gets very cold. This would be expected in the second half of February. So we've got some historical data to look at on how our teleconnections and our MJO are setting up. So, but we will talk about this more tomorrow, and I'll post another update on this. I appreciate all you. Thank you for being in here. Everyone, have a great night. I got some stuff to get done, but I appreciate you guys.